Hey Sally, how are you?
Good.
It's good to see you again. How have you been?
Good.
Good. What have you been doing today?
Not much. I went to work.
Okay, how was work?
It was alright.
Now tell me what you do again.
I work at a hospital,
Okay.
I guess registering people.
Do you like that?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. How's your puppy doing?
He's doing good.
Okay. Did you figure out a name for him yet?
Yeah, we named him Colt.
Oh, what kind of dog is he?
He's an Australian Shepherd.
Oh yeah, is he hyper?
Yeah, very.
Does he get along with your other dogs?
Yeah, he does.
That's good. Okay. I want to talk to you a little bit about what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be talking about your issues that you've been dealing with and ways that we can go about working towards those. So we're going to make goals, objectives, and action plans to get those problems taken care of, so you don't have to stress about those. Is that okay to do? Is that something you want to do today?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Do you remember us talking about confidentiality?
Kind of.
Okay. I just want to go over it again, that it's okay and it's a safe space for you to talk to me about stuff. I'm not going to go tell anybody else, and, it stays between us. But there are some things that, it makes me have to break confidentiality, and that is if you talk about hurting yourself or hurting other people. So I just want you to, keep that in mind, that it's okay if you feel those things, but if you do let me know those, I have to get other people involved just so we can get you the help that you need. So. Okay. Now, while we're making our goals and action plans and objectives, I want you to be involved, because the more involved that you are, the better it's going to be. If you work your action plan and your goals and your objectives, it's going to benefit you better than if I just say, okay, here's your goal, and you don't care about that goal. You're not going to want to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just kind of go over your broad category of some problems that you've been having. I know we talked about last session, you're here for, your alcohol problem. Is that still what we're dealing with?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you having any emotional problems lately?
I mean, I guess just having trouble with my husband. Like, it's been really hard.
What's hard about it? What makes it difficult?
He's not very supportive.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't understand why I'm not fixed already.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he's just kind of mad, I guess, that I've been spending all of our money on alcohol.
Have you guys ever tried couples therapy?
No.
Is that something that you think he would do?
I don't know.
Okay, well, we can talk about that later. So, what about financial problems?
We're just having a little trouble, I guess, with paying the rent, because I've just had been blowing all of our money.
Mm-hmm. Your job at the hospital, is that something that you plan on staying for a while, or do you plan to move up in that position or go somewhere else?
I mean, I guess if I ever get sober,
Mm-hmm.
move somewhere else, but right now it's just easy to manage.
Right. Now, if you weren't spending money on drinking, would that job be sufficient enough to pay y'all's bills?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Are you having any legal troubles?
Okay. No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Well, hopefully you don't. I hope so. Any physical problems?
Not really.
Okay. Do you take any medicine for anything?
No.
Okay. Any psychological problems?
What do you mean?
Do you have any problems with depression, anxiety, PTSD? DT, anything like that?
I guess I have some problems with depression. That's kind of what led to my drinking problem.
Okay. Um, when did you start feeling that you had these, depression symptoms?
Well, when I was younger, and I used to be on medication for it, but I just kind of stopped taking it because it didn't feel like it was doing anything for me.
How long did you try to take it?
I was on it for probably 3 or 4 years.
Oh, okay. Did you talk to your doctor about changing?
No.
You just quit taking it?
Yeah.
Okay. When you quit taking it, did you have any suicide or homicidal thoughts?
No, not
Okay.
really.
And do you have any of those now?
No.
Okay. Can you tell me about some of the most important relationships to you right now?
My most important, probably my husband.
Okay.
My dad.
Mm-hmm.
My brother.
Okay.
One of them, but
Okay. Not the others?
no, not the other one.
Okay. Is that a relationship that you want to fix?
Not really.
Okay. That's okay too. Is your family involved in your treatment process?
I mean, I guess my husband is kind of, but like I said, he's not very supportive.
Right.
Just because he doesn't understand what's going on.
Do you want your family? Do you want your dad and your brothers to be involved? Would that be a positive thing for you, or would that be a stressor?
I feel like the one brother, that would be positive, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure how my dad, I don't think he even knows I have a drinking problem. So.
Okay. Is that something that you want him to know about?
I'd be okay if he knew about it, but I just don't know if he'd be positive or if it'd be more negative.
Okay.
It'd definitely stress me out more if
right.
my dad was negative about it.
Yeah. So maybe we should, that can be something that we work on, but maybe not right now. So.
Okay.
How is your housing situation?
Good.
Okay. Good, safe house. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have past thoughts of like your childhood experiences or any history of abuse or anything like that?
Well, my mom, she was really rough on me as a kid.
Okay.
She just really wasn't supportive of me ever as a child, and it was really hard.
Would that be a relationship that you want to work on?
No.
No. Okay, that's fine. That's fine too. So now we've got your problems taken care of. Let's go to the alcohol and drug assessment. I'm just going to go through this list, and you let me know if you have taken it in the past or if you're currently taking it.
Okay.
So we'll start with alcohol, because I know we talked about that before. Is that you drink it, like that's how you consume alcohol? Is you drink it, or is there another way that you have tried to drink? Like
no,
alcohol?
I don't really know of any other way but down my throat.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing. So. How often do you drink?
Every day.
Every day?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how much would you say?
I don't even know. I don't keep up. Can't keep up with it anymore.
Okay. Is this something that just started, or has this been happening for a while?
I mean, I've been drinking since I was 16, but not so heavily.
Mm-hmm.
About 6 months.
Okay. What caused you to start drinking in those 6 months?
Honestly, I'm not even sure.
Okay. So nothing significant happened?
I mean, no, I guess. my mom and dad got divorced, but like I was happy about that. So
Okay. So that probably didn't cause you to drink then.
No.
Okay. What about caffeine?
Yeah.
Okay. How much do you think?
Well, I drink like 4 cups of coffee a day.
Okay. Um. So every day?
Yeah.
Everything. Okay. Has that been something that you've been doing, or did that also just kind of start in the past 6 months?
No, I've been doing that.
Okay. Nicotine? Do you smoke or dip?
No.
Heroin?
No.
Opiates?
I tried them in the past.
Okay. About how long ago?
About 4 years ago.
Okay. Was that an issue that you had, or was that something that you just tried once and?
It was an issue, but it was something that I could stop.
Okay.
It's not like my drinking where I just feel like I have to keep drinking to keep living.
Do you ever feel like that you want to try opiates again when you drink?
No.
No? Okay. What about marijuana?
I did in the past. I don't anymore.
Okay. So is that an issue that you feel like needs to be worked on?
No.
Okay. Cocaine?
No.
Meth?
No.
Inhalants?
No.
Stimulants?
I have ADHD, so I used to take medicine. I don't take it anymore.
Okay. Is that something that you have an issue with? Is focusing?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay. Is ADHD medication something that you would want to try again?
It's a possibility. I mean, I haven't really thought about it. I haven't taken it since I was like 19.
Okay. What about hallucinogens?
No.
Anything else?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So now we're going to. It seems okay. We're going to look at your problems again. What would you say are your top 3 problems in order that you want to work on? What are the top 3 things that you want to work on?
My drinking.
Okay. Would that be number 1?
Yes.
Okay. And what would be number 2?
My relationship with my husband.
Okay. And what about number 3?
I guess just letting my brother and my dad know what even is going on.
Okay. So we will make the goal and objective and action plan for the first problem right now. So right now we're just focusing on the number 1 issue, which is your drinking problem, which translate into a need for sobriety. So that's what we're focusing on, is the goal of sobriety. So we can approach this in 3 different ways. The micro level is individual therapy, which is what we're doing now. And I do think that would be a good thing for you to continue, but that's your choice, as always. The second thing is meso approach, which is getting your family involved, maybe doing some family therapy. Is that something that you'd be interested in? Like, almost as like an intervention, like with me and you, and we could bring your family in, and we could all kind of talk about what's been going on.
I mean, I would like that, but I really don't have any idea if they would be willing to do that.
Okay. And that's fine. We can, when we get to that point, that's something that we can, see if they would like to be involved. So, and then the third is the macro approach, which is group support, facilities, rehabs, and AA meetings. Are any of those something that you'd be interested in if you think it needs to get to that point?
I mean, I think I could do AA meetings. That might be good to have like other people that have already been through or might be going through what I am.
Right. Okay. And what are some interests that you have? Like some interests or hobbies, things you like to do when you're sober?
I like to read.
Okay.
I like to be outside.
Mhm.
I like taking care of my dogs.
Yeah.
But I do that not sober also.
Okay. Have you tried any other ways of coping besides drinking?
No, not really.
So when you get upset, is it straight to drinking, or is it like, you'll try to be outside for a second?
I feel like I used to do that. Like I used to go outside, maybe go hiking or for a walk or something. But now it's just straight to drinking.
Okay. Can you tell me some of your strengths that you think you have?
I mean, I have a job.
Right.
I have a house.
Mm-hmm.
I have my husband and my family, even though some of them don't know what's going on, and my husband's not super supportive. I mean, we still have a relationship.
Right, and they're still there, so that is a positive aspect. Some of the strengths that I see in you are meaning oriented, and that means that um, you are in charge of the meaning of your life. You do have a job, and you do have positive relationships and a house, and you can use that meaning to choose the meaning in areas of your recovery. So that means like you understand the meaning of sobriety and how important that is, which is a good thing to have. I also see that you're value oriented. You understand the value and the good things of keeping those stable relationships with your husband and keeping your job and keeping your house. And that means you can use that to talk to yourself in times of struggle about the value of sobriety, which is going to be, really helpful in hard times. It also seems like you're persistent, and addictive tendencies can really get in our way, and dealing with them is tough. But since you have these strengths, we can use your strengths to build on your goals. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's, still sticking with the number one issue, which is sobriety. What would you say that your goal is when in terms of sobriety?
To stop drinking.
Okay. So the goal is to stop drinking and maintain sober, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now to do this, we're going to do objectives. And an objective is a behavior specific regarding what is to be achieved. And that has to have a measurement. So that has to include something that you do that can measure your process. So if the goal is to stop drinking, and you said that you might consider AA meetings, do you think that if you attended some AA meetings that you could journal afterwards about your thoughts and feelings and your intensity of desire to use? Is that something that you might be able to do?
Yeah, I think I could do that.
Okay. And the journaling part comes from, it's a way of measurement to let me know that you're going because you're journaling about it, but also because we can go over those journals and see if you're going to AA meetings and your intensity levels of desire to use are still high, then AA meetings aren't working for you. So you're wasting your time being there. So I don't want you to waste time if it's not working. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, because if it's not working, that doesn't mean that that's our only option. That just means that we need to find a different treatment path in which we can do that.
Okay.
So we've got our goal, we've got our objective, now we need an action step. And an action step is basically who will do what by when. So as my part of this, my action step is going to be I will find local AA meeting times and places by our next session. So that's me finding meetings by our next session. So what do you think is an action step for you that could help with journaling? Like you will do what by when to help you journal? Like you could do, you will journal by the end of each AA meeting, or you will journal by the end of the week. It's just something that needs to be realistic that you can do.
Probably that I would journal by the end of the week.
Okay. So your action plan is you will journal by the end of the week about your AA meetings. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we can do a goal for the second issue was the issues with your husband. So that translates into a need of communication and establishing that relationship again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what is the overall goal, the broad statement of what you want to achieve when it comes to the relationship with your husband?
Gosh, I don't know. I guess even really, like, we have a relationship, but we kind of don't. Like, we just yell at each other, so I guess to have a good relationship or work on a good relationship.
Yeah. So the goal is to have a positive relationship. So what's an objective that we can do to work towards that goal? What is something that you can do to kind of identify the problem of what you guys fight about? Like, I know it's your sobriety, but it could also stem from other things. So could an objective for you, and like tell me if this is unreasonable or something that you're just not interested in. Could you each time you guys get into an argument, could you write down when it happened and what it was about?
Yeah, I guess I could just keep a regular journal.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay. Now that will show, that could show a pattern of what type of things you guys argue about, or like what types of situations you guys are in when you start to argue.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you can see the pattern, then you can focus on the issue that's causing the trigger. Like the trigger may be like in your mind you may think that he's mad because you're drinking, but really he could be mad because you're spending money. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So finding the root cause will help build that relationship and that communication back up.
Okay.
So an action step for that will be, for me, my action step could be I will, and if it's okay with you, I can reach out to your husband by our next session to see if coming in would be something that he'd be interested in. Do you think that would be something he'd be interested in and willing to do?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's worth a shot. I don't really know that he would be that interested in it, though.
And maybe if I explain it to him that you are trying, and it comes from me, then maybe he'll see that you are, you really do want to fix these issues that you're having, and especially, with him and your sobriety. So, it's worth a shot, though, if you're okay with that. What do you think an action step for you could be to accomplish that, to create that solid foundation and establish that positive communication again? Bless you.
Thanks. I mean, I guess just talking to him.
Okay. So could an action step for you be like I will talk to my husband, like I will talk to my husband about our issues by our next session?
Yeah.
In a non threatening way, like just a regular conversation, and if it starts to get heated, maybe you could take a break. Is that something that you might be able to do?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we can do the third issue was to inform your family.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's nerve-wracking. So to take that slow, the overall goal would be to include your family in treatment, right? The positive family members in treatment. So would you say that an objective for that would be, I don't want to push it and say that you'll just talk to your family, because I don't know if that's something that you're comfortable with. So what do you think an objective could be that kind of helps you and puts your mind at ease for that?
I think talking to them is a good idea, but maybe I don't know if I can tell them like what's going on myself, but maybe talking to them and let them know like I've been going through a hard time,
Right.
and that I would like for them to come see us together.
Okay, yeah, that's something that we can definitely do. I also think a good action step for that is you will write letters to them by our next session. That doesn't mean you have to give it to them, but just writing letters and getting those feelings out gives you a more clear idea of what we can work on when they are here. Does that make sense? Is that something that you might be interested in?
Yeah, like what would you include in a letter like that?
Just what you want to tell them. Stuff that you want to say that might be hard to say face to face, and if we can get it on paper, that's just the first step of us going through it and establishing a plan to let them know how you've been doing and stuff like that.
Okay. I think I can do that.
Okay, I think that sounds good. And if just like your husband, if you want me to, I can contact them after a few sessions, and we'll see how it goes. So
Okay.
Now the last thing that we're going to do today is create a service agreement, and that's just kind of it's kind of a contract, but it's not a legal contract. It's like a working document of our goals and our objectives and your main problems that we're focusing on, and it's fluid. It's going to change. So if we accomplish the goal of informing your family, then we'll go on to the next goal. So then that'll change again, but it's just an agreement of what your expectations of me and my expectations of you and how we're going to accomplish those goals. So do you have any questions about that? We'll go ahead and do that today.
I mean, like, so what happens if I don't complete it?
Then we just revise the objectives and action plans. Just because you don't achieve your goal through the first objective and action steps that we created doesn't mean that it's unachievable. Just because that way didn't work out doesn't mean that you're not ever going to accomplish that goal. There's multiple ways that we can go about tackling your problems.
Yeah.
I don't want you to think of this as a failure if you don't accomplish it by this way, because this is just the first thing that we're trying out. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is just going to have both of our names, date, and signatures, and then we will write out the problems. So correct me if I'm wrong, but the top 3 issues that we're working on currently are sobriety, relationship with husband,
Mm-hmm.
and informing family of needs.
Yes.
Okay. And then our goals were to maintain being sober, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Establishing that communication and positive relationship with husband.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third goal was to inform or include family in treatment plan, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. We've got our objectives, and I will get you the paper of your action steps so you can keep that with you. Put it on your fridge, keep it in your pocket, whatever you need to do to remind yourself to, get those journals and letters done. So if you can just go ahead and sign this. Do you have any questions for me? or concerns or comments?
No,
Nothing?
I think I'm good. I think I know what I need to do.
Okay, well, if you have any
Next session.
questions before our next session, just give me a call
Good.
and we can talk about it and we'll go from there. So I really hope to see you again next week, okay?
Sounds good.
All right.